What is happening, everybody? We're coming to you live from Fenway Park, Red Sox Live BP show. Jemai Webster, happy to be here with you on this Saturday afternoon at the old ballpark. Joined alongside Lenny DiNardo, former Red Sox pitcher, and what's going on? I am to be doing this.
Absolutely. I just want to get a bat, though. Live BP, I thought they were going to give us a bat. We can actually go up and take some Live BP at Fenway, but okay. We'll talk about it instead.
Yeah.
All right.
When's the last time you actually swung a bat? Like literally college, high school? When's the last time
I got 5 at-bats in the big leagues.
Oh, you got big league at-bats. That's right.
I got 1 hit, and I'm very, very proud of that one hit.
And it was off?
Matt Cain.
That's right.
Little bloop single in San Francisco.
Bleeder, the left field line, right?
Barry Bonds couldn't get to it. Omar Vizquel couldn't get to it, so that's a hit. But I'm almost as proud as my ground out to second base off of Tom Glavine.
Now, that was a rocket.
Yeah.
So, I remember that.
Better swing, and I almost beat it out. I hustled down the line.
Well, listen, this
Respect
is
the 90.
Hey, that's what I'm talking about. This is why you're so qualified to talk about batting practice here today, because of all that experience that you bring, the wealth of knowledge in the box as a major league hitter as well as a pitcher as well. So we'll get into that. With the Red Sox having 26 games to go, we're waiting for them to take batting practice. They're starting to mosey around here, the infield. A lot of guys getting some work done out there in right field as well. But we're going to lead you up to the big day ahead. We got Dustin May on the hill, but Garrett Crochet, he's out there right now just getting ready for, because he's going to be pitching here pretty soon too, Lenny.
They've got the yellows on today. The yellows. They don't lose in the yellows. They want to take today's game. Evident right now that they got to go out and take game 2 of this series. I'm surprised last night they didn't have back victory.
I know.
They had
5
wins,
walk-offs, right?
5 walk-offs. Yeah, exactly. It didn't happen last night.
It was close.
It was close.
It was electric. You're talking about last night, and incredible, just a dazzling performance from Peyton Tolley, who's had quite the run getting to the major leagues. 2024 draft pick of the Red Sox, 50th overall, I believe, which is where he was slotted at. And then a little more than a year later, he finds himself pitching at Fenway on a Friday night, opposed by the front runner for the National League Cy Young and Paul Skeens. And it's hard to even really put into words, but this man delivered and then some. How much did you like what we saw from the rookie?
I mean, as advertised, the fastball plays. You see 97 to 99 miles an hour. It's a swing and miss pitch in the zone, out of the zone. He was sprinkling in the secondary pitches off that. He was attacking hitters. If he was nervous, if he had butterflies, he didn't show it. He was bouncing around, bouncing off the field after innings, bouncing onto the field in between innings. And again, the stuff was electric. What a night for him. And going into this outing, I'm thinking, man, this really isn't a soft landing. You're facing Paul Skeens. But if you dig deeper, listen, they just came off a 7-1 road trip.
Yeah.
You're facing Paul Skeens. If you lose, join the club. This guy's a talent out there, right? So put him in a situation where he can rise up for the occasion, and he did. I thought he did an outstanding job.
100%. And, you mentioned that fastball. It was explosive. And even afterwards, Andrew McCutchen had some complimentary things to say. And he said the fastball, he would liken it to Chris Sale's fastball, just explosive out of the hand. He said obviously the secondary stuff from Sale is much better, but the fastball plays at this level, he's going to have a good career for a long time. When you get a compliment from a guy who we'll talk with about much more along this next hour or so, but when you get a compliment about that, somebody who's done it at the highest level, won a National League MVP, obviously is getting some consideration for some post-career accolades. But how satisfying for a young player like Tolley?
That's huge. That's huge. And, obviously the arm angle's different. You talk about the secondary stuff, not where Sale's at one day possibly, but Chris Sale gets out there out front. He's extending over 7 feet towards home plate. Tolley's 6'6", 250 pounds, and that ball gets on you quickly. Yes.
Guys,
I was saying yesterday, there's 13 foot of pitcher on the mound yesterday between these two guys, and about 500 pounds between the two of them. So, yeah, some big humans up there yesterday.
Yeah, so he went 5 1/3, left the game in a solid position to the bullpen, and they weren't able to deliver last night, so some struggles there. But talking about what Paul Skeens was able to do, he didn't seem to have his ace stuff either. Was able to go 6 innings, put the Pirates in a position to win that game yesterday. But he did get clipped by another up-and-coming superstar who we could be seeing for a very long time in Roman Anthony. He had a first hit single off of him, and then he took him into the seats there in right field with the big major home run that really caused the place to be electric. Actually, during that time, I just happened to be in the stands talking with Peyton Toley's father and his brother, Chad, and they were excited about the situation that was going on, but Pops ended up making the home run call right in the middle of it. He was saying something about, I like to see this from our kid, and then he goes, and just look at, I like to see this right here. He called Roman's home run call. Obi gave him the tip of electric, and highlight really of my night last night downhill, the bullpen. I don't know what's really happened to them over the last couple.
Yeah, they're human, right? They're going to fall. They're going to flail at times, and last night was a couple doubles in a row. Got some professional hitters in McCutchen, Tommy Pham out there doing a good job of just putting the ball in play. And it's missed command over the middle of the plate from Weissert. When he's on, he's down bottom of the zone. He's making the ball move arm side with the sinker, slider, glove side, but he just left the ball elevated over the plate in those situations. And if you think about coming in after a guy like Toley throwing 98, 94 looks about like 72 when it's down the middle, right? So they just picked it up at the hand. They were able to get the barrel to the baseball in that situation.
And that's baseball. That's seemingly what happens here at time. How much do you trust Jason Varitek? And
I trust him
Jose
with my life.
Flores.
I trust them with they're pinpoint. They are pinpoint. We're safe.
They keep getting further and further away, and the captain over here shaking his head, but he's still got it. He's still got it.
If he hits me, it's on purpose. Let's just put it that.
I certainly like to see that. So, as we mentioned, the Red Sox getting ready to take batting practice ahead of Game 2 here. 26 games to go in the season. It's almost unfathomable that we've reached this point in the year, but here the Red Sox are still in a prime position to achieve everything that they have in mind that's still right in front of them. Obviously in great position to make a playoff spot. I think the odds right now, according to Fangraphs, 90-some-odd%. So that feels great.
Absolutely.
The division's still in front of them, right? Trailing the Toronto Blue Jays by 3.5 games. And they still have the Blue Jays on the schedule. But I'd like to see them win here on Saturday, as you mentioned. They don't lose in the marathon yellow and blues.
Yeah, you've got Detroit and Toronto at the end of the season.
Right.
Leading up to them, you've got a bunch of teams that are below 500, so you have to take each one of these games seriously. It doesn't matter if you're below or above 500 as an opponent. You got to go out there and beat big league clubs, and they are big league clubs. That means you got to go out there and take two today, and it's about doing the little things right.
Yep.
It's situations where you got no outs, run on first base, move a guy over. Don't be afraid to drop a bunt down, which we saw in Baltimore recently. And the approach, gap-to-gap line drive approach, that's when they're at their best. When they're at their best, they're hitting home runs, but it's the approach that gets them there. You're trying to hit home runs, it's a pop up the shortstop every time. It doesn't work out that way. So we'll see what happens. It's in their hands.
I guess unless you're Cedar Rafaela, who said he was looking to go deep against Aiken,
and he looked right at
Baltimore.
He said, here's my impression, okay? He goes, I wanted to go deep, and he goes,
great smile. It was
the biggest smile. I loved it. It was great.
He called his shot, and he's been really one of the guys who has risen to the occasion more times than not this year. He's created a lot of electric moments, so I don't know why anybody would have doubted him in the first place, but kudos to him. We're still waiting on the lineup. We'll see what happens when that comes out, see what the Red Sox do with their starting 9 today, but we do know Dustin May is on the hill, very frustrated after his last one out, and really short for words too. He has high expectations for himself. He's obviously a pitcher who, before the Tommy John and the injuries, had A+ stuff. His stuff still plays, but what do you think he kind of needs to do to find it here?
Yeah, just be consistent inside the zone. They've switched his arsenal up a little bit. He's leaning more on the four seam and the cutter versus the curveball. Still has a quality sinker, but it's all about strike one, strike two. You get to strike one, strike two quickly. That sweeper plays more outside the strike zone. That's where you're going to get your swing and miss. And if you look at his 4 outings in a Red Sox uniform, he struggled in his first one, just over 3 innings. His last one, 4 1/3 in Yankee Stadium, but the 2 in between that, 6 innings. The first one was no runs, the second one was 2 runs. Quality start. He needs to get back to pounding the strike zone, using what he has in his arsenal effectively in the zone early in counts in order to get that chase. So the stuff, like you said, still plays, but he needs to use it inside the zone early in these at-bats.
Yeah, and also trying to find that consistency as well, because he was getting spots. He got over here, they said we're going to catch him, and then he had like a one. So he's now kind of on a more appropriate schedule to find a rhythm. We'll see if that happens today against the Pittsburgh Pirates. But obviously last night, Red Sox snapping a 4-game win streak. And they actually have lost quite a few games at home if you go all the way back to that homestand after winning 9 of their previous 10 at home. So they lost 4 straight home games at Fenway and trying to get back in the win column in that regard. 7-2 in their last 9. Playing well right now, so it's not like doom and gloom. We feel great about what the Red Sox have done to this point. And again, still in position to do whatever, what goals that they have in mind. So as we continue to, watch some activity here, starting out with some defensive work, of course.
And that's been a huge change. I feel like the defensive game for the Red Sox over the past 3 seasons, let's not mince words, it's been horrible. This season, it's taken a turn for the better. A couple plays last night from Alex Bregman, one barehanded play, slow roller, and another play when Tully was on the mound where he kind of ranged to his right, got down on his knee, stood up, threw a strike to first base. When you got the left side of the infield playing like they are now with Bregman and Story, that's going to help these pitchers go out there and continually pitch to contact because they're confident that the defense is going to catch and throw effectively.
Well, you mentioned it right there. That left side of the infield has been locked down, anchored really by Trevor Story, who's been healthy, who's been an everyday shortstop, one of the best shortstops in the big leagues right now when you look at the numbers. And, we talked to him earlier in the year, and he said that always his goal is to try and play 155 games. He's looking to be able to get to that. But when you have availability, which is your best ability, then the numbers start to follow, and that's what we've seen from him.
And the past few seasons, he wasn't healthy, and even coming into this season where he got off to a slow start, you got to realize that there is a such thing as rust. You get rusty when you don't play consistently at the big league level, especially. So he needed a little bit of time to get his feet under him, to A, feel healthy, B, feel confident, and then make some big league adjustments.
And he said as much.
Absolutely. Defensively, and you can see it at the plate as well. He's been an RBI machine. He's not chasing that slider down the way quite as often. The fastball up in the zone, he's not so often. He's getting better pitches to hit. You can see those on the page are adding up to that.
Yeah, we love to see the offensive numbers. I'm pretty sure he's in the lineup against Oviedo today, who the Pittsburgh Pirates are rolling out there. And actually, the Red Sox lit him up the last time that they faced him, which was in 2023. They hit 3 runs off of him. I believe they scored 7 runs. So he is a guy that they appear to see well. This could be prime position for another Saturday afternoon dub for the Red Sox. We'll see what happens in that regard. But, the team is just kind of cruising to the finish line here, which is a great position to be in.
Absolutely. You're putting yourself in a position where you're 3.5 back from Toronto. You're a half game back for the New York Yankees, but you don't want to leave it in the other team's hands, right? You want to go out there and take wins away from teams that are below 500 like this Pirates club. And yes, Skeens was on the mound yesterday. He deals against everybody. You got to just put that away. Take the fact that you did make some hard contact, Yoshida in particular, Roman Anthony, you made some hard contact, you put together a couple runs, and you got him out of the game relatively early. The pitch count was up, and the little things at the end, as far as the bullpen, that's what sunk the game. They made them lose the game, but at the end of the day, there's a lot of positives from yesterday. Continue with that in today, do the little things correctly. When they do that, they win.
And that, that's ebbs and flows of a 162-game season. It's why it's a marathon, not a sprint. You have these outings where the bullpen has been lights out like they were in Baltimore. But now coming here, Weiser, found a little bit of a rut. You expect that he will work his way out of it. He still leads the team in appearances. So that just shows to the trust and belief that they have in him because they continue to use him and put him in these spots.
And getting an addition like Slayton to insert into that 7th, 8th inning role.
Almost forgot about Slayton.
And Whitlock and have been lights out this season. And those guys are just on rises. Whitlock and Chapman get it done. It's automatic, right? So to insert Slayton in there yesterday, okay, he's in a big league uniform. He appearance under his belt. Now you can go out and turn.
One of your Rule 5 brethren.
We have meetings every week. Yeah.
I think you set the bar as it relates to Red Sox Rule 5 draft picks, and then it comes, the legacy behind you, Lenny. It's Garrett Whitlock and now Justin Slayton.
I feel a little sarcasm right there. The first thing I said to Whitlock.
I mean that in all sincerity.
Listen, hey, Lenny DiNardo, I was on the 04 team. Was like, listen, you're 100 times better than mine, And it is. Playing Slayton and Whitlock, their stuff is, these are legit
the game
relievers.
has evolved. It has evolved. Players.
I threw 100 miles an hour a couple times, but the kilometers radar was on. Miles per hour.
If we put it in a formula, right? We put your stuff in comparison to the era, it would play better. You know what I mean? So we got it.
I was a cutter guy.
Exactly. So we got to give you credit for what you did. After all, you were a big leaguer, and you performed at the highest level. So nobody can take that away from you. But game two, getting ready for the Red Sox and Pittsburgh. From here at Fenway Park, we are waiting for them to take batting practice. Hitting liners to the shortstop. And he, of course, was the for Red Sox fantasy football, deciding what order they would draft in. So
hitting rockets.
He's been in a bat a lot lately, and who knows? Maybe thinking about making a comeback out.
What was the one though? Was it Weissert?
It was Weissert. It was Weissert's ball that didn't leave the cage.
Okay, so was that
he
last
popped
pick?
It up. So as I understand it, as I was told, Greg, it wasn't based on the drafting. It wasn't based on the drafting order, but it was in order to be able to pick where you wanted to draft.
Okay.
So because his was so short, all the good picks were. And if you understand fantasy a little bit, and I know we're diving very deep into fantasy football because it's around the corner, college football came today. But if you understand fantasy and say in a 12-team league, which is pretty standard, 10, 12-team league, you draft 1, go all the way to 12, and then it snakes back around.
Gotcha.
So then 12 gets the very next pick. So you don't necessarily want to draft 1 unless you're locked in on like a Saquon Barkley, Bijan Robinson, one of the top backs, David Montgomery, any of those picks.
Gotcha.
Even Justin Jefferson or what's my guy's name in Cincinnati, the receiver from LSU.
You're asking the wrong guy.
Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase,
okay,
there you go.
So you would want to take those guys number 1.
Gotcha.
So you'd be in a good spot. But if you have the number 12 pick, then you can really double up with those premier positions.
Gotcha.
Running back, top receiver, running back, tight end.
It's very funny because we do a similar type draft at Red Sox Fantasy Camp.
Oh yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's probably in line with that. So the thing is, they got to pick last. Weissert got the number 7 pick. So his teammates, or his general manager, is Justin Slayton. Now, Slayton is locked in on fantasy. He's a huge Packers fan. He loves fantasy football. So he's like, hey, we're in a good spot. Don't you worry, man. We'll be solid. So they were the last selection, but they chose to pick number 7. So it didn't work out terribly for them because they were able to pick Christian McCaffrey.
Gotcha.
So they got him.
Pick.
So
Nice.
I feel good about it. In the meantime,
Are you in this league?
I'm not. I used to be in it though.
All right.
I was with it a couple years ago, and I was Justin Turner's general manager.
Okay.
And we rallied all the way back from being last place, won the last 6 games, got us into a playoff when I came on board, and then we lost after the first round bye.
Gotcha.
But I was able to lead us to victory.
Gotcha.
Enough fantasy football talk. We'll tap in more on Knox 2 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. Come back with more after this. Jamal Donardo, live BP from Fenway Park. We'll be right back. What's happening, everybody? Jamal Webster, Lenny DiNardo back here with you live from Fenway Park as we are on the live BP show. Red Sox taking batting practice already to this point. First in the box is Romy Gonzalez, who went 3 for 3 against Paul Skeens, one of the few players in the league to be able to have that on their resume. That's pretty impressive last night, so he's back at it.
Game-winning hit the other day in Baltimore as well. He's just starting to get hot.
That's true.
You got to ride the hot ponies, right? Put him in the lineup. Here we go.
And guess what else we got out here? Red Sox Hall of Famer Dwight Evans making an appearance. It's always great to see Dewey. He's talking to Jaron Duran right now. Wonder what secrets they could be sharing.
Put him in the Hall, people. Put him in the Hall of Fame.
I mean,
I talked to him yesterday. Yeah, I talked to him yesterday, and I was like, you know, you've got more home runs than anybody in the 1980s. And he looked at me, he's like, you know that?
Wow,
like,
he didn't know that?
Well, he knew that, but he was surprised that I knew that. I was like, and I told him, I was like, everybody should know that. That's a decade of home runs. You got more than anybody.
Yeah.
So maybe the Hall of Fame doesn't know that. Maybe we need to write a letter or something.
Mean, it's amazing because there's so many different players like Dwight Evans on the outside looking in, eventually get their flowers. And ironically enough, playing the Pittsburgh Pirates here today, they had one of their hitters go in just this past year who many felt for years deserving of that honor. Dwight will get his time as shining. We can really appreciate it and enjoy a career well spent in the game and being somebody who gave everything they had. And
look at the stats. Look at the amount of time that he had. Look at the impact that he made on the and at the big league level.
Still making an impact, like we're talking about. I mean, talking to young players, so they love it.
Exactly. Playing outfield, he picked the mind of Dwight Evans. Dewey is going to steer them in the right direction. In an outfield where this is not easy. There's so many nooks and crannies and angles out there that are not like any other ballpark.
Yeah, and now we got two absolute hogs sharing a conversation. Paul Skeens, Garrett Crochet. What could they be talking about?
Who's taller
in the outfield right now?
Yeah, that's a lot of talent.
Who's taller,
there in
maybe
a
some all-star appearances. Maybe, dude, that was electric last night.
Really
He's probably
was.
like, you know, I didn't really have my A+ stuff. It's like you went 6 innings when you come out of bed. It's amazing.
You talk about Crochet, though. What a better model or template for a kid like Peyton Tolley to follow. You got a big lefty out there that similar type of stuff, 98, similar repertoire, going out there and just pounding the strike zone. He should be following Crochet around consistently like a puppy dog.
Yeah.
This is the perfect guy to go out there and pick his brain.
And you know what's funny? Because obviously Peyton had been around during spring training, part of Big Leagues training camp. And you see people, and there's so many different guys coming in and out during that time. But I don't recall many of his outings. And obviously, spring training was a long time, and then, you know, so many different moves are making, and everybody's in and out. People have their own different programs. But running into him yesterday after the game, and him coming over and introducing himself, and I'm like, dude, you are massive, bro.
He's a big guy.
6'6", 250. He is a house. I know. Listen, I could not overstate this enough. This dude is huge.
And mustache is at about 20 pounds.
Yes.
They say the camera does, but mustache is absolutely gained about 20
and it's
pounds.
a great mustache, too.
Yeah.
It reminds me very much of
Selleck?
Tom Selleck.
Tom Selleck. That was his motivation.
I'm terrible at remembering names here today. I couldn't think of Jamar Chase, and now I'm getting stuck on Tom Selleck.
You teach me about fantasy football. I'll teach you about pop culture and the shows of the 1980s.
Yeah, all right.
Okay.
Sounds great. That's a deal because I actually got my fantasy football draft, and this, I promise, probably be the last fantasy football talk that we have here on the Live BP show, live from Fenway Park. I got my fantasy football draft tomorrow, and I actually don't even know what pick I have yet because our commissioner, he's kind of late with that stuff. Okay. So it'll literally come down tomorrow in the morning. He'll put the draft order in. So I've been doing a few mock drafts trying to get myself together. But this is kind of, to me, I don't understand if there's a frontline guy, and I know I'm teaching you about fantasy football. I don't understand if there's a frontline guy. Like if I had the first pick, who would I be taking?
Take Magnum PI over Higgins. Over Higgins. Don't draft Higgins.
I might take Jamar Chase, though.
Okay.
I might take Jamar Chase. I might take Justin Jefferson. I probably would take a running back, though.
Okay.
Looking for a bounce-back year from Christian McCaffrey. We shall see.
All right.
I follow Justin Slayton and Greg Weisert's.
That's the pattern, the template you're following.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Now we got eyes on Bubba Chandler here on the Live BP show at Fenway Park.
All right, who's in the box now?
He's by the bullpen over there. You see him? See Bubba?
Okay, yeah.
My man Bubba.
There we go.
Listen, I know Bubba Chandler and I know Bubba Watson.
The two Bubbas?
Two Bubbas. I used to have an uncle named Bubba.
Okay.
As well. He was a hunter, fisherman.
I've been known to eat a Bubba burger.
Yeah,
you ever eat those? The burgers?
Actually, you know, it's funny because I never asked my dad this question or anybody, but I'm like, how do you get the nickname Bubba?
You know how it is? A kid's born, and then a couple years later, another kid is born. And if it's close in age, they can't pronounce brother. So they say, that's my Bubba.
Really?
That's what happened to my family. My Abigail, my oldest, called my Lenny Jr. Bubba for the longest time because that was her brother, and she couldn't pronounce brother. So, hey, Bubba.
I always wondered how we got the nickname Bubba.
Yeah.
You know? So that makes sense. Actually, my nephew, my brother and my sister-in-law, they call him Booba.
Okay.
But I don't know where that came from. I think it's because of his pronunciation.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
that's what the siblings call him.
You never know what you're going to get on a live BP show from Fenway Park. We got the explanation of the nickname Bubba from our own Lenny Donato, who's locked in on everything. And now he's a fantasy football connoisseur as well. So I'm teaching you that.
I know just enough to be dangerous.
Yeah, right, exactly. These life stories. But this feels like a great day for baseball. And, you know, it's pushing towards the fall, right? There was a period during that last homestand where it felt like summer was saying goodbye to us. But I'm loving feeling the sun out here. I'm starting to feel the energy. It's kind of palpable. Yesterday was electric. The environments continue to be just great. And if the Red Sox don't win the division, they'll be in prime position, you would think, to host a 3-game wild card series here at Fenway Park.
That's the goal.
How advantageous is that for this group?
Absolutely.
Considering it's like that 10th man on their backs, this Fenway crowd, and It's been that way because they played significantly better at home this year.
Yeah, that 10th man is a thing, and I remember the playoffs in 2004. This place was literally bouncing. I'm sitting in the bullpen, I'm sitting in the dugout, and it felt like Fenway Park was bouncing up and down. The fans were so into it. Masataka Yoshida, I just want to mention, taking batting practice right now. Yesterday, 2 times hard contact, got a base hit the other way, a nice line drive
left field.
To left field. Yeah, so this is another guy starting to heat up. But this park, getting back to your point, this park comes into play in playoff scenarios where the other team gets rattled. So we'll see if that happens. I'm hoping they win the wild card because that's going to put them in a good situation here at home.
We're seeing Alex Bregman here around the cage as well. But speaking of Masataka Yoshida, I remember what you're talking about. I had the baseball savant going, and that shot to left field, that was the Masa of old, hitting those rockets, triple-digit exit velocity off the bat. And the thing that was discussed about Masa just this past week in Baltimore was Alex Cora was asked the question of, he's coming off this major shoulder surgery. How much is that impacting what he's been able to do offensively to this point? And AC was like, no, I don't think it has anything to do with that. It's all mechanics. It's about his load and his timing right now. And he's been grinding with the hitting staff, Pete Fatsy and his group, working on that. And we're starting to see some of that progression come from Masa. And that was a great sign. Didn't get the result, but the process was locked in.
Hitting's timing. Pitching is disrupting timing. And when you're facing a guy like Paul Skeens in particular, a guy with a really good fastball, hitters don't need to start and go quicker. They need to go slower but sooner. Nice and smooth swing, just get the barrel to it. And I thought both of his swings yesterday that made contact were just that, right? They were really smooth, not trying to do too much, swing the ball or the bat harder to get to a faster pitch. It was slower, but it was a contact swing and very level line drive approach. And that's where he needs to stay.
Yeah, that's his wheelhouse right there. Be quick, not fast.
And use the wall. Use the monster to your advantage if you're a lefty. That goes for all lefties here at Fenway Park.
Right now, Alex Bregman stepping in, and he's obviously got that pull power, and that green monster is his friend. He's been able to deliver in more ways than one for this Red Sox group, talking about all the stuff that he does off the field, helping the young guys, being a mentor, being in this leadership role, and having the capacity to really talk with all generations. Also been able to talk to the Latin guys, speak Spanish a little bit, and have communications there and make them feel comfortable. I think he's just a perfect player for this environment, perfect player for Fenway Park. You certainly hope that, you know, he's here beyond this year. Obviously has some options because of the business of baseball, but I think that stuff will take care of itself because of how much he's enjoyed being a Red Sox.
Absolutely. I mean, what he's doing offensively, what he's doing defensively, clubhouse guy, mentoring these young players, it just speaks volumes to the type of player he is on and off the field. And, yeah, you're right. They need to lock him up. They need to get him in this Red Sox uniform for years to come. I was talking to Jim Rice 2 days ago about him because, you know.
My old pal Jim Rice. I wish he was here.
Jim.
Shout out to you, Jim.
I was talking to him about Bregman's setup. And, you know, a lot of guys line up their knocking fingers when they knock on the door. But he's a little bit closed off, right? I was asking Jim, He's right here. Why does he do that? And Jim says he's got a real powerful top hand. And that goes in to him driving the ball towards the monster. He's got that pull swing because he's got such a powerful top hand. He gets to the ball really quick.
His
he gets that barrel out front. Yeah.
Incredible. His hips. He's got a very sturdy stance, too, in the box.
Absolutely.
He feels like he's planted into the batter's box. When he's batting, he's got that right elbow up, and he's timing it up with, that kind of, very quiet swing, but powerful when he can get to those balls because those fast hands you talk about. And great analysis, again, as always, by Jim Rice. Carlos Narvaez back in the box, who made an adjustment to his swing at the end of April, going into May, and that's when he kind of took off offensively.
Yes. This is a guy, before this season, really did not have a lot of time in the big leagues, right? And you saw he had a little bit of a knee issue. He's getting tired. The offensive numbers started to go down slightly, and Connor Wong comes back, who hasn't been playing at all this season, starts to get hot. Now they're sharing time right now, and it's only going to help them, A, stay healthy, and B, be locked in, because a little bit of time off is always going to help them at this point in the season because nobody's 100% right now. Everybody's scuffling a little bit physically, mentally. So going into playoffs and having a little bit of a breather is going to help both those guys kick it in gear.
Everybody, including myself, Lenny DiNardo, it is the dog days of summer.
You've got that schedule.
To the clock, shifting, and the calendar shifting to September. But because of that, and needing to make sure we space out these spots, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back here on the Live BP Show. Jemai Webster, Lenny DiNardo, holding it down for you. It is time for a quick water break, and we're back with more after this. Back here on the Live BP Show from Fenway Park. And look at this, the trio, or it's now a trio. It was a duo, and it's been growing because Lucas Giolito has joined the chat of elite pitchers with Paul Skeens and Garrett Crochet. Probably getting some tips and tricks, maybe saying, hey, I got to pitch to your guys tomorrow. I wonder if he'd give any info up, but probably
I want to see
not.
That dunk contest between those guys.
I mean, yeah, another guy who's over 6'5".
It's like a club right now. No, you can't. I can't go over there. I'm not that tall.
This is certainly a way I'd start a basketball team. Give me three guys, 6'5", 6'6", and then give me a couple big men. But
well, they're all 6'6" and big men.
I do wonder about the athleticism. I think Gio was a multi-sport athlete in high school. He told me about that. He played basketball. He could dunk. Skeens, I love his warm-up routine. He incorporates football. He incorporates baseball, soccer.
The water jug.
The water jug, yeah, to loosen himself up. I actually wish we would have saw that yesterday because I had been running around, but I wanted to just view it because it's impressive, everything that he does to get himself ready for starts. But I think we talked about this with Devin Marrero, who was on us the last time we did the live BP show from Fenway. You talked about the variety of playing multiple sports, and not being specialized as you're coming up as a young kid, which is very important because
Absolutely.
It creates that athleticism, also works on different muscle groups, and just makes you much more of a well-rounded athlete in my mind.
Absolutely, and that's the physical part. And there's something about putting your glove down when baseball season is over and picking up a basketball or football or whatever it is, and then when you pick up that glove later on when season starts again, you're ready. You're hungry to play the game, and physically you're ready because you're doing all these movements that are related to baseball, basketball, football. So it's playing all year round to set it down so you can appreciate it once it comes back again.
And so when
basically a little league season, when I got older we had fall ball, but I was able to put the glove. You know, there's your high school season, then there's summer, and then the fall you take going into the school year.
Fellow Meyer making an appearance here now. Obviously, that really gave him problems over the last. Another foundational piece to this Red Sox future. I think it was very mature of him. Words that he said was, hey, just I'm injured and physically I'm going to be able to contribute. There's stuff I can do off the field, continue to learn, to continue to acquire knowledge from these veterans so that next year I come back and I'm in a good spot. Yeah,
if he's not around the clubhouse, that's a wasted opportunity to pick the brains of guys like Trevor Story, Alex Bregman, to be there for your young players as well. He's good. He's really tight with Roman Anthony.
Yeah.
So yeah,
besties.
Absolutely. So being here in any capacity to root the team on, to get your rehab in, and just be present with this club is very important for those young players.
Talking about those veterans now and looking at Andrew McCutchen, who had a great first stint with Pittsburgh, went away for a couple teams. Now he's back, likely will be finishing his career as a Pittsburgh Pirate. You consider some of the greats that have wore that uniform, played at PNC, top 5 ballpark, maybe top 2 in my mind, probably top 2 in my mind. Great place to watch a ball game and just experience the culture and atmosphere of that place. But Andrew McCutchen kind of probably towards the end of his career, right? He can see the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah.
He's put up quite a career.
He really has. 17 years in the big leagues.
17 years in the big leagues. We're talking about Dwight Evans. Will Andrew McCutchen get Hall of Fame consideration? Because the numbers, they are almost there.
They're borderline.
Yeah.
So he's got 2251 in regards to hits.
2,200 hits.
Over 2,200 hits. He's got 331
MVP.
home runs. MVP, Gold Glove, multi-All-Star appearances. 272 batting average.
220 steals.
Yes.
So we're talking about a guy who has 5 tools, right?
Exactly. And we'll see how much longer he plays. The longer he plays, obviously, the stats are only going to go up.
Great outfielder.
Great outfielder. Puts together a professional at-bat. We saw that yesterday.
Yeah,
off of Weiser. Yeah, so he's, and again, those are on the field. Those are the on-the-field tools. Think about what a guy with 17 years in the big leagues, multi-organizational guy, can bring to a young organization, especially like the Pirates, who do have a lot of young players that he could help mold. So as far as the Hall of Fame, he's on the cusp. Yeah. It's a conversation to be had. If he does, in fact, become a Hall of Famer, there's other guys that need to join the conversation, too. I will say that.
100%. Also a Roberto Clemente Award winner.
Which is probably his most revered award. It would be for me.
Exactly. That right there is a special class of individual. Not only what you've done on the field and professionally, but your work in the community off of it, which is most important. That means you're using your platform in the right way. You're helping to create change, and that's legacy building in my mind, and he has that on him forever. So great player indeed, and I think that's part of the reason why he came back to Pittsburgh, obviously because of the love, the familiarity, but they have some young guys over there. O'Neal Cruz is one that comes to mind, who could be a special cornerstone as well, and what they're trying to build. Obviously, getting back to trying to be a contender. And they've had some competitive teams, and obviously when he was there as well. And they got some guys who can do it. Brian Reynolds, incredible Red Sox killer. We're going to see Mitch Keller in this series as well, a guy who's been a long-time Pittsburgh Pirate. They just obviously traded away their closers, Jared Bednar, to the Yankees. But they've got some things in line to field a competitive team. And, you know, Kutch is the type of player who can help continue to leave some, of his gems and nuggets dropping on such a young organization.
Yeah, you don't play 17 years in the big leagues. You don't play that long for many different organizations without playing the game the right way. And everybody that you mentioned, everybody in a big league uniform has talent. They should be in the big leagues, but learning from a guy like him how to play the game the right way, what your routine is day in and day out during a 162-game schedule, very important. And it's not things that you learn from necessarily a coach. It's what you learn from your teammates, the guys that are go into battle with you day in and day out.
Yeah, your peers. I think that's where the best knowledge is acquired. Guys who've done it, guys who are currently doing it. And that is an invaluable asset to have. It's why this Red Sox group, I think, works so well, because you got a great group of veterans melding with some young players, other guys who are more 4 or 5 years in the game, not quite veteran status like up there, but still looked at as like older, more mature players. I think it's come together just great, and Craig Breslow's done a fantastic job. I don't think he gets enough credit for the type of field, a team that he's been able to field this year, and making a pivotal move at one point in the season where they decided to trade Rafael Devers, where he made the statement, I think we're going to win more games than we otherwise would not have had he still been on the roster, and it's proving to be true.
Yeah, one thing about Brez, he's not afraid to make a bold move. When we saw that with Devers, he ended up giving Buehler his release, and good for him. So now he can probably go on for another team. Respectable, yes, exactly.
He can still get one on the squad, be on their roster, so he has potential to still be on the postseason eligibility.
Yeah, exactly,
right?
exactly. So
he's going to be a Dodgers player again here in about a couple days, probably.
But it was the right move. It was time. Yeah. It was time. If you look at the trade-off, you got a guy like Peyton Tolley in the starting rotation right now. Buehler was bumped to the bullpen, and there was just a lot of unknowns, some inconsistency there. So, whether he signs on with another team, there's stuff in the tank. We heard that from Alex Cora. Yeah. We'll see what happens this offseason and go from there.
Would you agree? You saw some flashes of stuff. He still got big 96 stuff.
I saw 96 2 starts ago from Buehler. My thing with Buehler is he's got 7 pitches. I wouldn't necessarily concentrate on 7 pitches. Taper down to 3, maybe 4. Concentrate on those. When he was starting, what would he do? Use 7 pitches. In a bullpen roll the other day, 7 pitches.
Yeah, we saw 7 pitches.
Dial it down to a couple pitches, especially in a bullpen roll. You don't need that many pitches.
Yeah.
Don't overthink it.
Go with your best 3.
Yes. Lead the bullpen with 3 in mind.
Yeah. And, I remember early in his career, he obviously was able to dot 97, 98 before the Tommy Johns, when he first came up.
That's the key.
Right, exactly. And he had the devastating hook. So the curveball was fantastic, not utilizing that as much to this point. I think that's one of those pitches, and you'll be able to speak to this, comes with feel, right? If you've been out for a while, it takes a while to get that feel back.
Absolutely, and it starts with the fastball. You get the fastball over the plate consistently, they're going to have trouble or more trouble with those breaking balls. So at the end of the day, it's all about command, whether it's your primary fastball or your secondary pitches off of that.
All right, well, this has been fantastic, Lenny. I certainly appreciate you coming out, man. Dustin May versus Oviedo, Red Sox in Game 2. Still taking batting practice, but we'll see you on the pregame show.
I'm doing radio today.
We'll hear you on the radio call.
Yeah. Listen to me.
And we'll be back next time. Jamont Webster, Lenny DiNardo, thank you so much for joining us today. Live BP from Fenway Park, getting you set up for Game 2 against the Pittsburgh